Plus Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Ant2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back to another episode of You and Your Doctor, sponsored by All County Healthcare. We are a certified home healthcare agency servicing Palm Beach County, Broward, and Miami-Dade. Our number to be reached at is 954-717-7027, and I am your host, Louise Gomez. Today, we have Mr. James Sutherlin, who is the Director of Sales at Coligomed. That is COLIGOMED.com. Very interesting. He's going to talk to us today about, I guess, how AI and other forms of technology are going to be able to help doctors as well as help the end user, patients. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So how long has Coligomed, what's the inception of that? And
Coligomed was started out of San Francisco about 4 years ago.
Nice.
Naidu Anamani, the CEO, had a vision of connecting a broken system. And he's a serial entrepreneur, started here graduating from FAU, alumni, with working for IBM. Went on and was chief architect for Catalina and grew their company, but then went on and into the chip industry. And your first cell phones, your first Apple iPods and such, his chips were in there.
Okay.
And his gift is connecting broken items, broken sectors. And he sold that company in 2020 and had a vision for connecting healthcare and the broken parts of healthcare. Yeah,
so how does AI play a part as far as the, if a doctor's saying, well, I already have an EMR, I have a system. How is this going to positively affect not only the office, the doctor, but as well as the end user and the patients? Can we speak about that?
Yes. So we're not an EMR, we're a portal. We're a hub that connects to every EMR because every hospital, every doctor is using a different software. And that's one of the major disconnects we've fixed already, is bringing those together in one patient-centered portal that then allows the AI to help immediately read the plans of care and support the doctor in wellness.
So can we get a little more specific? Like, can we give some real examples of, let's say, in, critical care or other forms of healthcare?
So we're currently managing transitional care when you're first released from the hospital.
Okay.
And our nurses and the software are following the patients home, making sure their medications are reconciled. And the AI then is going to the primary care, pulling in that information to make sure that the medications aren't counterintuitive to one another, causing adverse effects.
Right.
That's one key example and a major risk factor for our neighbors.
Yeah, for sure. And so what about like the control of the health records and other forms of paperwork? We all know, healthcare is bogged down with so much paperwork. Is there any way that this can help facilitate and ease that burden for doctors? I hear all the time they just have so much. So what can this do to facilitate and to ease that?
Yes, the AI is following previous plans of care related to chronic conditions, and so they're saving time by helping facilitate creating the plan of care and then the doctor's team can look over it before he signs off to save time. The AI is also analyzing all the labs and the results that the doctor normally would have to open each email from 6 to 7 different lab company.
Right.
It's pulling only the labs that need to be actually reviewed that are out of range, and helping the doctor efficiently get to the labs that are showing metrics that are out of range.
Okay.
And so those are 2 examples of efficiencies it's creating in the office management side.
So if I understand this, the AI would actually be able to look at all the written documentation and kind of maybe summarize it, correct it, adjust it as needed. Is that right? Or no?
It doesn't adjust it, but it does follow learned plans of care, and the doctor always reviews it, or his staff, and signs off on the final plan of care.
Okay, so maybe give suggestions, and then the doctor would be able to review it and then ultimately decide if that's the best?
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Very interesting. And so, what other industries are we talking about besides? We said chronic healthcare. What other?
Yes, we have a wound care platform.
Okay.
We have cardiac rehab. All these are in-home programs, as Medicare is looking to provide more intimate care at the home space, aging in place.
Yes.
Even actually analyzing and following CMS's guidelines, so that when services are received, they're meeting CMS's and Medicare's guidelines, so that when the Medicare recipient receives their EOB, they know that, hey, I recognize this. I received this from Dr. Johnson, and remember this level of care, and that it was going to be billed to them. So it's kind of an audit trail as well provided,
Okay.
protecting both the doctor and the patient.
Right. I like that you said aging. How did you say that? Aging in place?
Aging in place, we're all taking care of our parents and
Yeah.
grandparents, and to the best and highest quality in their homes, which is the most
Yeah.
affordable.
Absolutely. And so, can you give me an example of, let's say, a cardio patient? How will they personally benefit? What alerts? How do they get these communications? How does that work?
Well, the onboarding starts at the office.
Okay.
The doctor does order the remote patient monitoring and the education called chronic care management.
Oh, okay.
He invites them into a relationship. So AI supports what Medicare is looking to do, is the doctors to have an intimate relationship in the home through companies like Coligomed. So we have nurses, we have nutritionists, we have PTs, OTs, overseeing the telehealth component of what we're serving the doctor's office and the patient with. That doesn't negate the
Sure.
feet on the ground.
Sure.
And CMS has released all new billables in 2024 to cover these relationships that wrap around the patient.
Interesting. So how, like, ultimately the end user, are they notified via text of it, or like, how does that work as far as?
Yeah, no, great question. That's another way AI brings efficiencies. It can educate through chatbots.
Okay.
It can remind via text that you should be fasting, and then if you say no, I wasn't fasting, one of our coaches could call, and or AI will reschedule you for the appropriate time on the doctor's schedule log.
Wow. That is so necessary, because that has happened to me. I know exactly. So it makes it a lot more efficient, time efficient. So for everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and if our neighbors are using managed care, AI will we can go out and we have a hub that will get the prior authorization, so they don't show up without an authorization for a service. That's another efficiency it's creating that doctors are falling in love with, and their staff, because traditionally they had to
Right.
actually go into 4 or 5 different portals and seek a
Right.
prior authorization manually.
Oh, wow. So this would work just as efficiently and effectively in a hospital setting, and how would that work?
Yes, well, it's a patient-centered care with value basis around it. So we follow the CMS's quality measures, and the hospital has accountability to CMS.
Right.
And then we wrap around. So we're following the patient from the hospital and their records there through that transition known as transitional care, and then either into home health or into chronic care management, which is a relationship based on education that allows us to feed information back to the primary circle of care, the specialist, the family practice doctor, the internist, and even private nurses and staff if they're involved.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's say somebody like, our company here at All County, let's say you had to send over a physical therapist or occupational therapist. So how would that work as far as integrating all that information? It would just be all integrated on their platform, or?
Yeah, so we have one place where all the medical records are, and it triggers encounters. It triggers the medical necessity for home health when there's a decline, when someone falls. And we can bring that trigger back to the primary care or specialist, as well as notify if there's already a home health agency in the circle of care, they could be notified as well.
Okay. Ed, do you see how that would work? I don't know. What are your thoughts on the efficiency of something like that?
Well, when James first started explaining this to me, one of the things I thought of immediately was, I'm a Medicare recipient myself. I'm on Medicare health insurance.
Right.
And if I go see a doctor and the doctor refers me to another doctor,
Right.
and then I have to go to that other doctor, and rather than having to be encumbered by having all my medications, having all my tests, everything is already merged and transferred. It becomes seamless, and it eliminates errors.
Yes.
It eliminates waste. And I know a lot of people that are on Medicare are very conscientious about being sure that there aren't duplications of services, that they've actually received the service that Medicare was billed for.
Right.
There's a integrated integrity
I like
into this
that.
technology.
Integrated
screens for those
integrity.
things.
I like that. Yeah, because with AI, it does all that work behind the scenes. So there's not like there could be, human error, I guess. I don't.
And many times it is.
Yes.
You can't assume that, somebody was trying to falsify. I mean, it's just human error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that error can be caught and rectified.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
No, just when you get 20 patients deep in a day,
Yes.
are you really able to see everything effectively? And that's really what AI is doing, is pulling forward the most medically necessary information for the doctors and other clinicians in their circle of care to be able to make strong decisions about their plan of care moving forward and coach our neighbors. So
Yeah, I think you're right on time. We are in the age of AI. AI is just everywhere, and it really is about harnessing that technology to really using it for our benefit, not only the doctors, the practices, and the OMs and everyone else, but for the end user, the patient, and then also for the person taking care of their parent.
yes.
Maybe they want to be able to have, like, what would they see? Like, instead of talking to your mother, oh, I went to this doctor, I did this and that. And it's like, okay, Mom, let me, So they would have a report. How does that work?
They have a simple window through the application to actually see their family, the testing, the labs, the medical records. It's bringing the patient and their family in the same position as the clinicians to look down at the results and actually be part of the decision making, not sitting back on the other side reacting to the decision making. So the goal is to empower people to take control of their health and their medical records and help the doctors in that coaching process. So
No, it's definitely empowerment for all, because it takes such a stress off of each person, where everybody's able to just, maybe the doctor's just going to double check and say, okay, let's see, this is what it suggests, and then he'll give the bottom line verification that it works. So I like it. I mean, that's the direction we're headed in, really, with AI. Go
One
ahead.
of the things we learned from COVID,
Yes.
there was this method of doing telephone calls instead of going to the office.
Right.
But if the patient had gone to the office, what would they have done? They would have weighed them. They would have taken their blood pressure.
Right.
They might measure their oxygen saturation. All these things now can be done in the patient's home.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And all that
covered by
data
insurance,
not
yeah.
only transmitted in real time to the doctor, but archived in their medical record.
Oh, so it's on the spot. It's wow.
Yeah, blood pressure, weight,
Everything.
And now a cardiologist and a GI doctor can actually see the same information in real time.
Nice. Those are definitely big, huge benefits. Because as he said, going to different doctors, sometimes that human error.
Yes.
Yeah. And what else would you like to? There's just so many questions. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. What are some of the questions doctors ask you?
Oh, man, I have to think because there's so many.
Yeah, of course. Or maybe what are some of the things that
some of the questions
people-
are the same you're asking me. How is this going to improve how are you going to help my problems, my scheduling?
Sure.
Right now, I've met with doctors that, because of the growth of Florida, are getting over 500 phone calls a day.
Oh, wow.
So-
We're going to have a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Gotcha.
All righty. Thank you so much. Be right back.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027, or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask, but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Thank you for tuning back into our show here. And we have I'm sorry, I was calling you a doctor, Mr. James Sutherlin, Director of Sales at Coligomed, COLIGOMED.com. And we were discussing the increase of population in Florida, and you were mentioning something about...
Yes, you were
Go ahead.
asking about doctors and questions, and just like you're conversing with me today, when we sit down, a doctor has so many pain points. Scheduling
Yes.
right now, all the influx of phone calls, 500 plus
Yeah.
a day, staff trying to keep up, and we relieve all that pressure. So that boiler, that system, AI our chatbots are creating protocol that allow the staff and the doctor to focus on the patient relationship, not getting prior
Right.
authorizations, not scheduling.
And that's what the end user wants. We as the patient, we want to be seen by the doctor. Like, we want to have that connection, because you can always tell when a doctor's just overwhelmed and like, okay, I got 2 minutes for you. So I feel like it's really going to bridge the gap between that relationship between the, patient
Yes.
and the doctor.
Yes, and then Medicare, with the release of chronic care management, are asking the doctor to invite the patient, our neighbors, into a relationship when they have 2 or more chronic conditions that are ongoing,
Okay.
but don't meet home health criteria. So those are the patients that haven't met the criteria for home health. So AI is predictive. We're able to
Yes.
see the risks, see the multiple chronic conditions, and then invite them on behalf of the doctor into what I call the Tom Brady of healthcare, chronic care management. That relationship in chronic care management is quarterbacking the needs of that patient to move them to wellness and away from those chronic conditions, if at all possible. And we support that with, we'll call it Gronk, Gronk is remote patient monitoring, and he's there watching their blood pressure, watching their weight through a scale, like Ed said.
Well, is it
Pulse
a device?
ox.
Is this a
Yes,
device? Oh,
management through
interesting.
the device.
How does this? Is it a wearable?
Yes, we
Oh,
plug into
nice.
Apple Watches, Fitbits, and we supply wearables all underneath the insurance billables.
Very
So-
nice. So then you're able to get real-time data
Yes,
and information.
and that pulls in and is added to the evaluation of the plan of care and the goals for the wellness. So we have a metabolic program to help with weight loss. We look at sleep integrity. We look at wounds, as I mentioned earlier.
Is there a wearable for sleep integrity as well? Or?
Yes, there's a
Oh,
wearable, and then it
my God.
constitutes a trigger for in-home sleep testing and sleep apnea.
In-home sleep testing.
Yes.
So that is amazing because we all know people who have to go to these sleep labs
Yes.
that they lose sleep. It doesn't work out. I don't know. So in-home sleep testing. Wow. I'm liking how AI is really, it's just helping us as a human race, you know? We're really going to benefit from this. So I'm happy to see that.
Yes. Once again, I look at it as AI supports efficiency so we can have true face-to-face contact again. And it's the relationship that's going to change. Coming out of
Absolutely.
COVID, we're all struggling with some mental health complications of what we went through. So allowing AI to deal with the efficiencies and help with the plan of cares, allow the doctors, the therapists, the mental health professionals to circle around our neighbors and give them true personal care again.
So I have a question touching in on what you just said, mental health. How is it supporting the emotional mental health aspect? Is there a feature? Let's
Yes,
talk about that because that is a big one.
That is a requirement of chronic care management. So we
Okay.
do a lot of surveys, the little happy faces,
Yeah,
sad
yeah.
faces, and that's what the surveys calculate and the AI calculates, and our team watches those. And when there is a risk assessment done on that data, it then triggers an encounter, a referral to a mental health professional.
Wow, I like that.
And the application
That's good.
has the opportunity, as Ed was saying, an instant call to whoever that encounter is supposed to be with. So if we're working with veterans, we can put their crisis counselor in the call button
Oh.
underneath their favorite 5 practitioners around them.
So, do you work with the VA as well?
Yes.
Oh, you
Yes.
do. So that's very important because they need all those features. Go
Yes.
ahead.
It's like having the whole healthcare team on speed dial.
Oh, I love that. He's going to be your rep. He's got it all. It's so true.
Very well
Great
said.
analogy. It is. It's like having the whole
Everybody
team.
laments about how difficult it is to get an appointment
Yeah.
with a specialist.
Yes.
Well, part of the reason that is because they're just so overwhelmed with tasks that could be much better managed,
Yes.
much more efficiently. With this program that Coligomed is putting together.
I like that. Very good. So, where are you at mainly now? Is it private in the, let's say, doctor's offices, or where's the?
Yes, working with offices. We have doctors across the U.S.
Nice.
We also are a global company with both engineers and doctors solving problems in India.
Okay.
Right now, addressing diabetes and wound care primarily in India, and a wellness program there. So we're sharing best practices around the world, and we're bringing them local to help our neighbors.
Wow. I mean, it's a global, right? I mean, if you're working there and here, it's really all that information can affect everybody in a positive way. Yeah. So, I really like where this is going. I love how AI is benefiting everyone. So I really want to thank you for coming onto the show and sharing everything that you have.
Thank you.
So if somebody's interested and they want to learn more, can I give this number?
Yes.
The 321-314-4283, and I'll give your website again, www.coligomed.com, and your email, JsutherlinJR@coligomed.com. We have a minute left. Do you want to share with the audience any takeaway?
I'd just like to share that myself and the leadership have all had personal encounters with the healthcare system, so we're driven by a passion to fix something that that has caused our parents and grandparents
Yeah.
to have some distress.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
we're driven by helping our neighbors.
Thank you so much for coming onto the show. We appreciate all you're doing and your work out there in the world. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.